Does anyone have a question? Please try not to move, because if you move, it really disrupts the class. Many years ago, I came to a very profound realization that the end, of this work of any kind of spiritual practice, please try and sit still. Dan, your moving is disrupting the class. I mean, I know everybody is sitting in their own bedrooms, apartments, wherever you're sitting, but there's a class going on here, and movement disrupts it. I realized many years ago that the answer to this whole, question and struggle and all the struggles that go on in people's lives is very simple. And I remember saying, hey, listen, you have to stop moving. Dan, do you hear me? You have to stop moving. You're disrupting the class. I'm not quite sure what you're doing, Dan, but it really is disrupting the class. When you're moving like that, it disrupts the whole energy. Anyway, to get back to what I'm trying to talk about here. I realized that the answer to this whole thing is very simple. And I kept saying to people, happy people are enlightened people. People with their hearts open that can live that way every day of their lives, that can sustain this no matter what the hell is going on in the world, and can keep that, that can really keep that openness, and be able to deal with anything from a place inside themselves where there's love, where there's happiness, where there's compassion, where there's forgiveness. I mean, that level of humanity truly is the literally final step on the earth before somebody enters a state of samadhi. And I think that this is something so profound and so simple that it doesn't, register in people, because we get wrapped up in all the bullshit that goes on in life, politics and wars and this and that and the other. And we forget a simple reality. We're born on the earth to learn how to be happy people. And if other people can't, manifest that in their lives, it shouldn't interfere with the process of us coming to the realization in our hearts that God is love. Love is, the key to all of this. And, and to do this, as I've repeated over again, and, you need to build a system inside that is strong enough so that the heart, so that the heart stays open. And if you don't build that kind of inner life, you're always going to be trapped and caught up in all of the bullshit that goes on in the world. All the insecurities inside yourself, all the, problems that go on inside a human being. And it really denies us the right to truly find the reason that we're born. I mean, we come into the world with innocence, with love, with sweetness. People can look at an infant without wanting to pick them up and hug them and kiss them, They're so sweet. They're so full of God's energy, and then, as time goes on and people are, conditioned into living the way, they're educated and trained and taught in this life, it really, it destroys that whole process. of that innocence. And then, it's paradise has to be regained. We have to work and do yoga, meditation, some kind of deep spiritual work to simply regain what we were born with. I mean, the whole thing in many ways doesn't make any sense. It's not supposed to make any sense, but it seems like that is the process of how this all works. So we do meditation, we do inner work, we do something that can help us to develop an inner life that is strong enough to regain the very innocence that we were born with. Why it's that way, I've had many people ask me that question. I have no idea. But it seems to be what really guides the lives of people. And when we get caught up, when we get broken off from that innocence, the world becomes a chaotic and crazy place. We wind up in our heads, we're thinking all the time, we're analyzing, we're living in a world of polarity and conflict and, opinions about what's right and wrong and good and bad. And all of that love and all of that juice that's so deeply and profoundly located in the heart disappears in a mind that just never shuts up and is constantly creating conflict in the lives of people. So, we really have to, it's such a simple solution to what manifests in life as a difficult problem. And it's written everywhere, in every church, mosque, synagogue. God is love. And as soon as people leave the church and the mosque and the synagogue and whatever, the ashram, they instantly go right back into the head, and they don't take with them whatever they have learned in these places that is supposed to be teaching people how to get to God. And to me, it's really very interesting how life is getting simpler and simpler. I feel more love inside me and quiet and simplicity than I've ever felt in my life. And I am grateful to be able to come to a place like this because it's truly a major step towards the attainment of spiritual enlightenment. Does anyone have a question I would like to ask? And I think it's, honestly, I say this a lot, and it's true, it's the thing that every human being wants. A little peace, a little quiet, love inside them. And it starts with each and every one of us. It doesn't start with what goes on in the external world. It starts inside each and every one of us. First person we have to make peace with is ourselves. I mean, if you spend your whole day beating yourself up, how are you going to interact with anything in the external world? So that joy, that love, God is love, it's inside each and every one of us. And that's what has to be fixed, the internal workings of a human being. Does anyone have a question they would like to ask? I mean, something happened about 2 months ago that really changed my life. It took me to a whole other level of comprehension, of inner work, of just quieted myself. It just really took me there. And you know, I don't understand even why it happened, but it just happened. I mean, the answer obviously probably has to do with so many years of working on myself that so much of the nonsense just fell away. And it made it very clear to me what the purpose of all of this is. And I'm trying now to share this with all of you because I don't know if anybody in this world doesn't want to come to a place where there's really love inside them, peace inside them. I shouldn't say that. I mean, there are people that's so reliant upon the mind and their ego, and they don't really know anything else in this lifetime. That those are not the people that I can connect with, but everyone in this class is somebody I can connect with and pass on to these amazing things that are taking place. Does anyone have a question they would like to ask? You know, and also there are signs, astrological signs, and just all kinds. People get, I know people are getting in touch with me now. That some people I haven't seen in 15, 20 years. Somebody sent me an email. They have a Ganesh in their house that they want to, know if I want. And I haven't seen the person in 15 years. And it was very interesting how the conversation progressed. And ultimately what it came down to is my daughter is your goddaughter, and boy, would we love to get together with you. And it's a person, people I haven't seen in 15 years. And I can only attribute it to the openness that's taking place inside me. That's allowing these kinds of situations to manifest. My daughter is sitting in my meditation class today. I mean, it's something I couldn't have dreamt of, even 5 years ago, 3 years ago. And it's wonderful. So I keep telling people, you open and you attract, really some of the most amazing things start taking place. Also, things fall away. People fall away. But the shame is people fall away and then 20 years later they get in touch with me. I mean, they miss all of this. Does anyone else have a question? Does anyone have a question they would like to ask? Okay, if there are no questions, then there will be a meditation tomorrow evening. And, you know, at the same time, and I'm looking forward to seeing everybody. And once again, as I say at the end of every class, I am so grateful to be here with all of you to participate in this incredible thing that goes on where people can connect with this meditation that are living literally all over the United States. And I think it's an amazing thing. And I'm just so grateful I can share all of the things that are happening in my life with all of you. And hopefully it'll help you to build a deeper connection within yourself to higher energy. You know, not to Stuart, you know, I'm not the answer, you know, but to higher energy, to God. Rudy always used to beat me over the head. Don't worship me. He used to tell me this all the time. Don't worship me. I am not, you know, learn what I have to teach so you can build your own connection with God. He said, that's the greatest thing you could ever do for me. Okay, if there are no questions, God bless you all. Thank you. And I'm looking forward to seeing everyone tomorrow.
Thank you, Stuart.
Thank you, Stuart.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.